automation here, and today's automation is going to be a continuation from the previous automation that I showed you guys how to build your own nonprofit channel, basically automating your channel. And what I'm going to do here today is that we're going to be able to fully automate the process as far as getting a donor, sending them a thank you message, creating a task, sending them a welcome message, and then notifying you whether a donation is higher than your usual amount. And that is what we're going to do. I'm just going to show you the donation, the automation here. So as you can see, we're receiving data from the form, from the donation form, and then we are correcting our address here. We have Open Router. We're going to be using Open Router instead of ChatGPT here. So you will need an account with Open Router. And then we have some variables happening here. I'm going to zoom in here if I can. But I have a variable set up here to correct our address because the address is coming as a data. And then we have two routing happening here. If the person is a new donor, they're going to go to this route, and basically this top route, and that top route will store their information. We will search if they exist, and then if they don't exist, we will create a customer profile for them, and then basically add their information to our database, and then we will automatically send them a thank you email for their donations. And then we will wait 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes here, but I adjusted the timer for testing purposes to 10 seconds. And basically what we'll do is we'll wait for 5 minutes after they've gotten the thank you email, and then we will send them a welcome email. And then automatically we will create a task to our team in our Google Task to be able to call that person. And once we've called that person, we've talked to them and all of that, there is another routing going on here. If the amount the person donated was more than $1,000, it's going to send us a Slack notification so that we are aware of that and we can call that person. If it's not, it's going to again delay for a couple of minutes, and then it's going to send an email to them telling them about the impact of their donation. This way you keep your donor engaged. The second one is if they already exist, we're going to update the search the database, see if they already exist, and then basically update their information. We will update their customer profile with the amount and everything, and then we'll send them a thank you email. And you can go ahead and repeat the process from here. Send yourself a text, maybe you want to follow up with them. So in a nutshell, that's the automation. I want to show you how it runs. I will go ahead and get the form here that we were using. Actually, I want to pull that up here if we can find it. Okay, so this is a form that I created. I'm gonna give you that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that form, and then I will come back here and run the run the automation for us. So let me just fill that form up real quick. James Dennison email is going to be my email. So all right, so and a gmail.com. Phone number is optional. Address. Okay. Expiration date 29. 1 2 3. We just send a message. Thank you. So I'm gonna go back here to our system, and what we're going to do is I'm gonna run this, and while it's running I'm gonna send that form information, and you can see that our data is being received right away the moment I submitted that form. And you can see here that's a new donation, so it went through the first route, and we're going to wait 10 seconds, send them the thank you email, and then we will basically create a task for us in a Google task, and then you can see it routed here because that donation was not more than the $1,000. So it's gonna wait 5 minutes here and then send that automation. So let's give it a couple of minutes here. I wonder if I left this in 5 minutes. That sucks. Okay. So while that is waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and I want to share not this screen with you guys. I don't know why it's doing this today, but let's go back here. Okay guys, this might take a minute, so grab a coffee and sit with me. Let's drink. And if you like the automations that we do on here, go ahead and hit that subscription button and subscribe for more information whenever I release new updates. I'll also say that I do have, no way. All right, fail to validate. What do we have here? Missing value, required parameter 2. Okay, so apparently there may not be. So I'm going to reduce this to 10 so that we don't have to wait like that next time. So missing value of required parameter. Okay, let's see here. Oh, so it's missing the email. So I'm gonna use this email instead. That is the email from the, this is what we need. Okay, save that. So that should work next time. But let's go ahead and build this automation from scratch. All right, because that's what we do here. It's fairly simple to build. It's not a complicated process, but I think it will be good to, if you watch the previous video, you should be able to build this on your own. So I'll go ahead and create a new scenario in make.com. And the first thing that we need is our webhook. We need a custom webhook. A custom webhook, not a webhook response. So we have webhooks, custom webhooks, choose. Again, for some reason, my nonprofit field is not showing up again. It does this all the time whenever I am building something. So what we would do here, I'm gonna go back to this, and I'm going to clone this here because this is becoming annoying. Can I clone this? Copy this module. I don't know if you can use the same thing here. Just that here. Yeah, it's not gonna work. All right, guys. So we're going to have to use a different webhook for this automation. Don't worry, I will, since I'm just showing you how to build it here, I will do this and then we will see the form. So add your form, take the lead. We're gonna do lead capture. I will just update the form itself. And then once we do that, the next thing we wanna do is we want to be able to parse the address. So we want a JSON transform object. So we do our JSON transform. And what we are looking for here, before we go ahead and do that, I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to copy this thing here, and I will add it to the mockup donation form that I'm using here for us to be able to have access to that. So just bear with me a moment. Webhook. All right, there we go. I'm going to comment this here, and I'm going to comment that line. Put a comment and save this. All right, so I will go ahead and refresh my donation form, and I will refresh my donation form. Okay, because our new form is going to be submitted, and I'm going to fill that form up again. Sorry that you can't see the form, but it's right here because I want to be able to receive data when that comes in. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 2, 9. 1, 2, 3, and we want to say thank you. Alright, so I'm going to save this, run this hook. Alright, now as you can see, that hook is waiting for data, so I'm going to click that and see. Yep, looks like we got some information. So look at that. Alright, we got everything that we needed there. And then the next thing is we want to parse JSON, transform to JSON the address. So we need that address, and we're going to do the entire JSON object for that address because we want to convert it later. And then I'm going to use my open router. You will need to get a open router account in order to do this. I recommend open router because it's a unified platform that you can use to be able to access different AI models. Because, like, I mean, you could pay for ChatGPT by itself, pay for Claude by itself, pay for this, but I think centralizing everything makes sense. So that's why I'm using open router for this one. And basically what we want to tell it is we have our message here, content is right here. We want to say we were taking basically the address that we got from this model, so the JSON string address here, and our role is our assistant. Yeah, let's use system. And then the model we're going to use DeepSeek for this one. DeepSeek. And I am using the R1 052 Reason model, which is a free one. So with open router, you have the opportunity to be able to access some free accounts and some free AI, so that you're not, spending some bucks in there. I recommend though adding funds if you want to have some really good stuff going on for you. And by the way, just a plug in here, we at Genesis Flow, we are creating a platform and a SaaS for nonprofits, churches, and content creators. It's called Alter OS. And stay tuned for that. Once that comes in, once that release, we will notify you guys. But let's get back to building here. And so I have my system set to deep seek, and we will leave it as this fallback here. And then the next thing we want to do after we've done that is we want to set a variable for to extract the address that's coming from our content here. So set variable, we're going to call this address. And what we need is the choices, message, and the content. I want to save that. And then after we're done, this is where we do the routing. So we want our routing to come here. And the first thing we want to do is add our Google Sheets. I already created the Google Sheet, so you don't really need to basically, I mean, you will have to create the Google Sheet. That's what I'm trying to say before you can do this, because that's where you'll be storing all your things. And what we want to do is we want to search the row to see, hey, does this customer already exist within that? And I'm gonna go, the sheet I have is new donor record. Sheet name is here, A to Z. And what we want to do is we want to filter by email. If that email exists, if that email does not exist, or what we can say, if the email is not equal to the email that is coming from here, then we can go ahead and create that order. We want to leave everything else the same. And then once we do that, we want to create a Google document which based on a template. So you will need a Google Doc template to be able to create this next part. And if you don't know how to do that, you can always DM us and we will be able to set this up for you. So what we're looking to do is create that template for the profile. So donor profile template. I might leave this in the Notion file, the Notion instruction for this course. So we have full name. We're going to need the name, the first name, the last name, donor name, which is basically the first name. I prefer the last name because it just differentiates the person, the amount they're paying, the amount they donated, the transaction ID, because we want to keep track of that. Where is transaction ID? All right, the email and the date we're just gonna do now for this date. All right, and then our title is going to be a new donation alert. So we're going to say our donor donor profile update, and then with the donor last name. So last name. And then we want to choose where to save that. I already have a folder to save that in. All right. And then once we have that done, once that is created, what we want to go ahead and do now is to add the information that we got from that things. So we will go ahead to a Google Sheets, add a row, and then search donors record. Sheet name is sheet 1, table has tab. Our first name is going to come from all of our data that we just got. So collapse these. First name, last name, email, phone number, address is going to come from this pad here, address. Donation amount is coming from amount, recurring. Is it recurring? Is it recurring? Where is recurring? Nice, I feel like this, there we go. Transaction ID, our tag is going to be new donor because this person just got in. Message obviously is going to be message. The document ID is going to be this. The reason we need the document ID is for us to be able to track basically like if the person already exists in our system. And then once all of that has been created, we want to go ahead and send them our thank you email. So Gmail is what we need for this. Send an email and add a recipient here. We will use our recipient from the email here. Subject, we're going to say thank you for your generosity. Yep, I think that's how you spell generosity. And then content will be that email, and we need to format this, put their first name, and everything else should be good. Save that. And then once that email is sent, we want to wait 5 minutes because we're going to send a welcome email as well, telling them welcome to our stuff. So this is where you add the delay. So SLEP is what we need. Sleep for make.com right now. They only have consecutively 5 minutes delay for some reason. I don't know if they're going to work on that at some point. But basically you can only do 5 minutes, unfortunately. 5 minutes. However, you can chain 5 minutes. So let's say you want 45 minutes, you're going to chain those together, and I think that's the maximum actually you can get is 45 minutes. So for testing purposes, we're just going to use 10 seconds for that, because 5 minutes is 300 seconds. And then what we would do is we're going to use our Gmail model, send another email, and this is going to be our welcome email to that same email that we just collected. So email subject, welcome to HOPE Foundation. Content is going to be that, and we want to edit their first name. All right. Okay, and we want to save that, and then now we have we go ahead and create our Google task. Okay. All right, so create a task, and all you have to do is log into your account, donation task. I already have that task created, and the title, the title that we want for this is going to be to call, just to call them, to say, so call first name. Call first name to say thank you. So that's the instruction that we want for this. So, and then once we have that, what we want to do is basically here now we are creating the conditional routing again. So we're going to do route if we want Slack for this, Slack. All right, and we want to create a message, and we want to select this from the list, public channel. We want to do website forms. Text is going to be an alert text, so we will say alert, RT. How do I get the, I think it's control command this, yep, and then we'll get that, alert, oops, ALE, alert, and we say alert new major gift from the donor name. So donor first name, colon, amount, dollar, amount is right there. So blocks. Let's save that. So the filter we want up here is we're going to say major gift alert. And what we want is we want if the amount, so dollar amount here is greater than or equals to $1,000, then we want to route here. Otherwise, we're routing to the second one. And then what we'll do here, otherwise we'll wait, SLEEP. We're gonna wait maybe a few more seconds. So I'm gonna just do 1 second. Let's do 5 seconds for this. We'll wait 5 seconds and then we're gonna send our like the impact that they're making. So Gmail, send an email, go to send that email, email here, subject, your gift is already making a big difference. I think we can make big with capital B. Content, we want that, and we're going to change the name again in this one. So let's do that first name. All right, so that's the first part of the routing, and then the next part is we're going to search our Google Sheets. So we could just copy this, clone this module, because that's exactly the same thing we're doing. So we want to clone this module, and what we want to do is, if they already exist, we want to update the rows, update the row. And basically what we were doing is we want to update the row number. Choose the sheet, donor record, sheet name is sheet 1. We want to update the row number, and what we want to update here is the donation amount that they donated. Want to update their transaction ID. Want to update their message because they might send a new message, and we want to leave the document ID like that. Tag is going to be returning donor. And then we're going to update the tag to returning donor, and yeah, that should be it for this part. And then what we want to do is basically go ahead and get the content of the document. So Google Docs, get content, and what we want is we want to map over the document ID, which is coming from here. Save that, and then we want to, the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to insert a paragraph into that document. And what we want to insert is basically going to be the information that we have here. So this would be did I choose insert? Yeah, so we're not going to do mapping, we're going to do document ID. There we go. And then we want to append to the body of the document, and we want this append text. So first name, yeah, so we need the profile that we want to update is going to be first name and last name. We want the amount. We want to update the transaction ID. All right, and then once we do that, we want to send a thank you email. So for that, I'm just going to clone this. It's the same thing. And there you go. So we should have that result. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then we will enter some information again for that form. You know, I want to test the major alert and see if we get any stuff in there. So just give me a moment. And so for this, I want to be able to show you guys how this is going to work here. And okay, sure. All right. Let's go ahead and do that right there. Okay. So now that you can see the entire screen here, so this is the donation form that we are working with. And I'm going to fill this up real quick. I want to test the other one as far as the skip, the Slack, I mean. So I'm going to go with other amount for this, and I'm going to do $2,000, okay? And we're going to go just random names here. Oh, what's going on? Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what happens here. Share the entire screen. Okay. My apologies, guys. I'm having some technical issue here. All right, I think this might work. Okay. Now, fill this form, email. I'm actually going to use a different email. So let's see. Because I already used 3020 Center Avenue. 0242 1229 3. Thank you for your work. All right, so let's run this. Okay. So it's running, and then we will go and submit our donation form. All right, go back here. All right, you can see that data came through. Let's see if this works, the Slack one. So it says our first thank you went, we waited 10 seconds. So our thank you email went, so let's see. Our welcome email is gone. It didn't pick it up. That's interesting. Huh. All right, so everything worked but this right here. So I'm gonna look into this and see. So add a rule. If the amount. So let's see here. I'm gonna do the amount from here. ID, phone number, first name. The donation amount is greater than or equal to, I think that's what I use, greater than or equals to, yeah, 1,000, and go here. All right, so, well, before we do, let me see here if that updated. Yep, so we had this at Genesis World Just Man. We have the form that was updated, transaction, the document ID was updated and everything. So we had that created. The form works and all of that. But that's how you do the, you build your own automation and be able to just, use it for anything that you want pretty much, because a lot of nonprofits, when they start building, when you're starting your nonprofit, you may be by yourself. This is how you can automate some processes to be able to give you more time to do the things that you actually want to do. So if you have any questions, leave them in a comment. If you have any comments, also leave that. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe. If there are things that you love to critique, go ahead and send that in the comment. Be respectful, obviously, and I will answer to your questions and anything. All right, well, I will see you guys in the next video.